na pia picha kama iko sawa. Yes, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube at Hope FM Live. Team Live, mtanieleza kunakaa namna gani. Now this week, we start off another series which we shall title Divine Boundaries. Divine Boundaries. I'll read 2 scriptures today, which will just be the foundation of our conversation this week. And tutaangalia on Tuesday all through to Friday. And I trust that God will help us. Let me start by saying that we should all understand as believers, there is that which God has set for us to walk in. There is a preordained kind of life that God would want for his children to live. And if you narrow it down to individuals, there is that which in God's will, has been planned or rather ordained for you and I to walk in, right? Scripture says in the book of Ephesians chapter 2 that we are God's workmanship. We are God's masterpiece. Workmanship suggests that he has taken time to make us, to create us, that no one is an accident on earth. There is that which God has planned for you and I to accomplish on the earth, regardless of our current circumstances. All right? Joseph Wanjiru, Lucy Mutua, Lineto Wanjiru, Mr. Cheniki wanasema tuko sawa. All right? And so, with that in mind, allow me to start by saying that none of us should God has planned for us. That's why it's very important for every one of us to love prayer, because it is in prayer that you get to know the will of God for your life, and with the knowledge of the will of God, you can pursue that which you know, you are persuaded is God's purpose for your life. That is why it is important to seek God by yourself, right? I acknowledge that someone can speak to you concerning what the Lord has revealed to them concerning your life. However, I'm convinced that a prophetic word should come not really to reveal something that is new to you, but rather to confirm that which you already are in the knowledge of, or you're trying to figure out. That is to say, you should not rely on man of God somewhere to tell you about the cause of your life. You should seek God and ask him to show you what is his purpose, his plan for your life. And so, as we talk about divine boundaries, consider that there is that which God has set for you to accomplish in the family setting. There is that which God has set for you to accomplish in life generally, in your spiritual life, in your walk of faith, in your business, for example, if you're a business person. There is that which God has ordained for you to actually fulfill, and you should never settle for anything less than that. Many other times, especially that when we get blessed, we tend to relax and imagine that this is all I can get from God. Sometimes it is informed by a past that had, a lot of hardship. Sometimes it is informed by seasons of failure that you have failed over and over again. And so once success is presented to you, you're just okay with that. Unatosheleka. Not really investigating and seeking spiritual intelligence to know, is this all that God has ordained for me? And so success becomes much more dangerous. The enemy can actually devise a way to present what looks like success to you so that he can stop you from pursuing that which God has ordained for you. All right. Let me read some few scriptures today. Today we'll be laying a foundation on the matters divine boundaries. And then tomorrow we'll look at divine spiritual boundaries. What is that God has ordained for us to walk in spiritually? That you should not settle for anything that does not look like that which Scripture has painted for us as a successful spiritual life. For today, we look at some scriptures that point to the fact that God is interested in you getting to the boundaries He has set for you. And that is why it is important also in prayer, the prayer that I mentioned earlier, to sometimes engage spiritual warfare, not really to destroy curses and all of that, but really to destroy strongholds in your mind that are informed by various things that can cause you not to get to that which is a divine boundary for you. Because you can have man-made boundaries. You can have demonic boundaries that are really set by strongholds in our mind. You can have boundaries that you have set yourself. But most of the times, all of the three are not divine boundaries. They are not that which God has ordained for you. For example, God has ordained for you to be a billionaire through business. And as we are speaking, you've handled some millions. And because no one, let's say in your family, has gotten to that place where they can handle millions, kwako, that is great success. But in the eyes of God, God is like, you're not yet getting to your divine boundaries, because in my eyes, now God speaking, I've ordained for you to be a billionaire. So haufai kutosheleka kwa level ya millions. And most of the time for such people, it is for, the agenda of the kingdom. Sio ya wewe tu usikie poa. That is just an example. God might have ordained for you to reach out to, let's say, 3,000 people before you leave earth and preach the gospel to them. That there is a sinner somewhere ambaye anategemea your courage, your spiritual alignment to hear the gospel. But because you've preached to like 500, wewe unasikia vizuri sana and you feel like, by the way, hey, nimeaccomplish a lot. But in the eyes of God, as heaven looks at you, heaven is like, you're not yet where we want you to be. All right? Deuteronomy, this is chapter 32. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided their inheritance to the nations, when He separated the sons of Adam, He set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is His people. Jacob is the place of His inheritance. Psalm chapter 16 and verse 6. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance. So Scripture is pointing out the fact that there are divine boundaries that God ordains for us to get to so that heaven can call that success. Most of the times, we don't strive to get to the divine boundaries because we are easily distracted by boundaries we have set for ourselves. Boundaries that our environment has set for us. Let me give another example with education, for example. If in the eyes of God, God will want for you to get to the highest levels of education, that is the PhD and all of that, so that at some point in life, He can use you, for example, in this nation of Kenya, to be a policy maker in a certain, field, in a certain ministry, for example. Once you get to your master's degree, na hakuna mtu kwenyu hata amepita form 4, na utosheleke hapo, in the eyes of God, you're not yet successful. To you and I, and to your village, and to your family, you're doing really well because no one has ever gotten to form 4 where umefika mpaka master's level. Then you're really okay, uko mbali sana na umepata job somewhere as an advocate of the High Court, for example. And so we will celebrate you. We will actually brag about how that we have someone from our village who has gotten to the master's level when no one has ever even gotten to Form 4, and it will look really okay. But if in the will of God you are ordained to get to the PhD levels and actually master a lot of things before you can become a policy maker, you are not successful in the eyes of God. I hope I may make enough examples for now, for someone now to understand what we are talking about when we talk about divine boundaries. If you're ordained to be a wife or a husband who will raise 3 godly children, and sahi uko na 3 children, only one loves the Lord, the rest because of demonic interference hawataki kusikia hiyo mambo, kwanza wamejipeana kwa all kinds of rubbish. You should not rejoice and settle because at least one is serving the Lord. No. If you have sought the will of God and come to the understanding that all these children, my work on earth is to raise them up to be godly men and women, if you have sought the will of God and got to that understanding, then hawezi tosheleka when only one is serving the Lord at this particular moment. You'll continue pushing and praying and trusting in God that all will become godly children, or rather godly offspring. So as we look at divine boundaries this week, ask yourself, is that which I'm calling success in the eyes of God? Is it success only in my eyes? Is it success only within my environment? Is it success only based on, my background? Because like I said, if you come from a background of a lot of suffering, when something good is presented to you, chances are high for you and I to just rest at that. And you're not striving anymore. We are not pushing any further because we feel like, at least finally nimetoka kwa shida. But probably heaven is looking at you and I and saying, sikuwa nataka tu utoke kwa shida. I was trying even to groom you to be one that can actually get others out of the pit. Consider that today. Tomorrow we'll be looking at divine spiritual boundaries. What does the scripture say about how we should be like spiritually? And have we gotten to that place? Ama tumetosheleka na 30 minutes of prayer na najua Yesu na naenda binguni? And then days following tutakuwa tunaangalia other areas of life that we need to consider whether we are getting to our divine boundaries. Keep your prayer requests coming on WhatsApp 0717 400 555 and on text 20933. Allow us to go for a quick break, then we'll be back to pray together. Keep it right here.
Hope FM, another quality service from Christ, is the Answer Ministry. Hope FM.